Welcome to Theme Weavers, your weekly wisdom for weaving yoga themes into your classes to inspire your students. We're your hosts, Heidi
and Farin. Welcome, Theme Weavers, where we are exploring the fifth chakra. We started our series on the chakras a few episodes back, so if you're not familiar with the chakras, go back to episode 31 or season 2, episode 6 to get a general idea and get yourself caught up. Anyway, here we are today on our fifth chakra already, just moving right up the spine, well, up the body.
It's my lucky number, number 5.
Ooh, five. It's really your lucky number?
I was born.
Oh yeah, because January 5th is your birthday.
That's right. That's right.
Oh, cool. In case this is the first episode you're listening to, go back to episode 2 of Theme Weavers podcast for details and background on the structure of how and why to weave themes through your own courses. If you choose to use today's teaching on the fifth chakra as your theme while using the gift of our inspo sheet, please find a way to turn our voices into yours to make this theme authentic to you. Also, if you enjoy Theme Weavers and the content we've been sharing, please leave us a review, a 5-star rating, wherever you listen to your podcast.
5. It's all about the 5.
Yeah.
5, 5, 5.
It is about 5.
All about the
Oh, I
5.
love it. 5-star ratings.
If they had 6, though, you could do 6.
And then give us the extra star. Yeah, but also please follow us on Instagram. We post some of the bloopers that we don't actually put in these episodes. We talk about other funny things.
Because we're funny.
Cool. We're so funny. So yeah, follow us on Instagram for those reels and just to keep up to date on when the episodes drop.
Yeah.
We are also so grateful with how quickly Theme Weavers is growing, and that's because of each and every one of you. So we're grateful that you are sharing and interacting with us, and the more you do so, the more energy and excitement sends. So we appreciate you.
We do. We do. All right. So thank you for all being you and for listening to us, because we know there's many options of things that you could listen to. So thanks for choosing us. All right, let's just hop into our Dharma tack. I don't know what accent that was. Our Dharma talk. Yeah, I've only lived in Massachusetts most of my life, but that's not how we talk. Anyway, all right, let's do it. Let's hop into the throat. Okay, so before we start our physical practice, let's explore the next chakra in our series that we have been going through, our fifth chakra, known as the Vishuddha chakra in Sanskrit. So Vishuddha, often referred to as the throat chakra, like I just said, is located at the center of the throat. It's the center of communication, of self-expression, and authenticity. The fifth chakra enables us to speak our truth with clarity and conviction, expressing ourselves authentically in the world. Learning about the throat chakra is essential because it invites us to cultivate truthful and authentic communication in our lives. It encourages us to express ourselves honestly and openly, both verbally and non-verbally. By understanding and nurturing our Vishuddha, we can deepen our connections with others, share our unique gifts with the world, and embody our true selves. I'm cutting off my Dharma talk for a second. I love the throat chakra. Do you? Why are you laughing?
I love the throat chakra. You mean you like thinking about it? You like talking about it? You like teaching about it? Or what do you like?
All of it. I love all of it because this is the one that I have learned the most about myself with. And so I like other people to learn because it has been hard for me to speak my truth because I'm so worried about how other people will think and feel that I'd rather dim my own light and my own voice out of fear of others or care for others or both than to step in my own awesome throat power. And it's been...
Do you feel like you're constantly working to open your throat chakra then?
Well,
it's the one you spend the most time on?
Yeah, I mean, not anymore, but for years and years. So when I first really learned about the chakras, I was in a holistic wellness practitioner course with my friend Jill at this place called Women of Wisdom. It's this cute little purple house in Easton, Massachusetts. And it was a year-long training program. And when we covered the chakras, all of a sudden I was like, oh my God, I have no voice. I never stop talking and I have no voice. What is wrong? That is crazy. So for years, I only wore blue crystals on my neck. I stuck like crystals, like blue, like different throat chakra crystals in my bra. Like I had them underneath my pillow. I meditated. I used mantra, like all the things to learn to not just hear my voice, but intentionally use it to show up in truth. And in order to do that, like I had to even know what my truth was, right? And recognize that other people don't have to like it, and that's okay. And so for a long time, that's where a lot of my work focused. Not as much anymore, but I do catch myself at times needing to really refresh and pay attention to my throat chakra. Did I ever tell you the story? I was interviewed on our local cable 8. I probably have told this because my kids tell me I tell the same stories over and over. Like our local cable TV about like recreation options in the town of Sharon where I live. And this woman was interviewing me, and I was talking all about my rec yoga program that I've taught for many, many years. And, I was myself. I was smiley. I was kind of bubbly. I was engaging. And she was like, wow, you have a lot of energy for a yoga teacher. That's not really what I would think a yoga teacher's like. And I was like, to the wall. I felt like somebody took a spear and put it through my heart, right? Like that hit me so hard because I've heard my whole life, like I have too much energy. I talk too much. And yet, like, here I am teaching people to embrace their whole truth and show up in that and feel loved no matter what. And like, it probably an innocent comment where like she thought all yoga teachers were like, just like quiet and floating. And I'm just like a normal, bubbly human. Just like made me feel like, oh God, this is so embarrassing. I can't believe that I just got called out publicly for that. And it gutted me.
Aw, dang. I think I would have been like the opposite. I would have been like, bitch, what do you know about yoga teachers?
You're so much better at that than me. Like, you're really good at going on the offense. I immediately like retract into my shell and just feel small and embarrassed. And you're like, guns out, let's do this.
I'd be all confrontational. I'd be
Right?
like, let me teach you what yoga is about. Let me teach you about being authentic.
Yeah, that sounds super yogi too. Let me get up in your face, woman. Ahimsa in action. What?
She'd be like, oh, you're not what a yoga teacher is either.
Maybe we all just need to reassess what we think a yoga teacher is supposed to be like.
Exactly. We're humans. Humans.
All right, back to the throat. Here we go. So, how do we know if our throat chakra is in balance? uh, so, when our Vishuddha is functioning optimally, we feel confident and empowered to express ourselves authentically. We communicate with clarity and conviction, speaking our truth with kindness and compassion. However, if our throat is too open, we may become overly talkative or domineering in our communication. I'm often told I'm overly talkative, but I'm just talking. Or lacking the ability to listen to others. I hope I listen to you. I listen to you, right? I try really hard.
You listen. I mean, you interrupt, but it's for like a purpose. You still listen.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I probably.
But you like call yourself out when you're interrupting. Like you're
Oh,
aware.
yeah. Well, that's like my
Yeah.
ADHD, right? I'm like, impulse control. Damn it. I have awareness of my impulses, but like, in the moment, sometimes they're just not there.
Yeah.
But I try really hard to listen and remember. That's
Mhm.
important. I mean, as a social worker, it's also such an important skill to actively listen. That's hard. I
Yeah.
find when you tell me things, I'm like thinking about what I want to say back sometimes. And then I'm like, oh, shoot,
Mm.
I'm not listening because I'm thinking so much on what I want to say that becomes hard too, right? And that's not listening in a very engaged way when you're thinking about what you're going to say next about what they already said. Like, what? It's a mind game.
Yeah.
That's hard. Okay, so too open, we're talking too much and we're not listening. But conversely, if it's closed or blocked, we may experience difficulty expressing ourselves, fear of speaking up, or a sense of being unheard or misunderstood. And just as a side note, this always makes me laugh because I'm both. I'm overly talkative in my communication, but I also have fear around speaking up and sharing my truth. So I wonder if those just balance themselves out and I'm like super balanced in the fulcrum. In the fulcrum. Or if like I'm just all out of whack and on both ends of a seesaw at once. Work never ends. Anyway, much like myself, many of us do struggle with issues related to the throat chakra. whether it's difficulty expressing ourselves honestly, fear of public speaking, or feeling silenced or invalidated by others. These are all signs that our Vishuddha might be out of balance. Maybe it is. But when we do the work on the fifth chakra, we need to confront our fears and insecurities, to speak our truth, even when it feels uncomfortable or vulnerable. That's so hard. It also asks us to listen deeply to ourselves and others, cultivating a sense of empathy and understanding in our communication. I hear people a lot undercut what they say. Like they'll say something and they'll be like, not that it really matters, or like, it's okay, maybe that wasn't that important. I think that's throat
Hmm.
chakra stuff too.
I think so. It's just like a way of like protecting himself against any reaction.
It's like, you know, in like older times, I'm thinking of the musical Six actually, but like actual like Henry VIII times, where like queens or women would wear those like really high collars. They didn't necessarily go against their neck, but they like went up and like flared out a little, like underneath the chin. It's
Oh.
like your Elizabethan collar that we wear to protect ourselves. Like it's like this armor like built up around. You're like, where is she going with this? It's like that armor. It's that armor that we build up as like a facade to protect ourselves.
Hmm.
I like that visual.
Interesting.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Helps my brain.
Why was it only the women?
It's always only the women. Our voices, we are meant to
Ugh.
be seen and not heard. How many times have you heard that as a woman or as a child growing up? Like, come on.
Right. Ew.
Blech. I didn't really throw up in case you're not looking at the video. I just pretended. That was my throat chakra expelling. All right, so that's like a lot of hard work. But when we nurture and balance our throat chakra, we can experience a deep sense of liberation and empowerment. We can express ourselves authentically, share our unique gifts with the world, and forge deeper connections with others through truthful and compassionate communication. And I will say, a lot of people say to me, I have no idea who I am authentically, and I don't feel like I have any gifts to offer the world. Like, if that's how you feel, and a lot of people do, so you're not alone, like, that's where the work is. Like, who are you at your core? And then how do you share that with others? That's really scary when you don't know. Did you always know who you were, Farron? Do you know who you are now?
Yeah. No, I just like it's interesting right now that we're talking about throat chakra because like for a second I didn't want to say anything because I was like I don't want to sound conceited. I don't want to sound like I'm full of myself. But at the same time I'm like I do have a strong sense of who I am. Like that's the truth.
But you wanted to hide it for a second because you were worried about what
But I want
other people would think. That,
to yeah.
oh my God, why do we do this?
I
At least I'm not
don't know.
alone.
Yeah.
Like I think most of us do this. And when you don't, it's true. People really do judge you. People are unkind.
Yeah.
Like a very opinionated person that knows their truth and knows their facts. People do look at them like, oh, who do they think they are, better than everybody else? Or I don't know.
Yeah. So interesting.
It is.
That just happened in the
It
moment.
did. Look at that. That is Vishuddha Chakra in action. All right. So we're still in our Dharma talk. So as we move through our practice today, I invite you to bring your awareness to the center of your throat, to the energy of your Vishuddha. Allow yourself to connect with the power of authentic self expression, speaking your truth with clarity and conviction. And remember, by nurturing your throat chakra, you unlock the door to a life filled with honest communication, deep connection, and true authenticity. And I'm sitting here like massaging my throat right now. How often do you massage your throat?
Like never.
Try it right now. Join me. Massage your throat.
Okay, wait, I have done this once. Now that I'm like doing it, I'm like, oh
And
yeah.
when I get like the sides, like around the
Um,
sternocleidomastoid muscle from the back of the ears down to the collarbone, it's so tight. Like I could feel the fascia of my throat being like, ugh, don't touch me.
yeah, I can feel that too. We did this in yoga teacher training.
It feels good. It's
I
necessary.
remember.
I
Hmm.
have memories of when I was a little girl. My mom would like sometimes like go like this underneath my chin, like take her hand and like almost like stroke under my chin, and I would like pull away every time. Like I felt so uncomfortable by that sort of touch. And
Oh,
I was thinking about that the other day because I went up to my kid, one of them, and I like sort of put my hand underneath their neck and I was like, "You're so cute." And they like gave me the weirdest look, but I don't think they pulled away. And I wonder if like from a very early age I felt uncomfortable with my throat being like touched or exposed.
Maybe. Did you wear a lot of turtlenecks?
No. Well, no, that's not true. My mom used to dress me in turtlenecks when I was little. There was like a few,
My mom used to try to dress me in turtlenecks.
like the Oshkosh
You know what I
bagosh.
did?
You tuck them off.
I don't know if we could afford Oshkosh bagosh, but I freaking hated turtlenecks.
Do
I
they make you
cannot
feel like
stand
you're
anything
strangled?
covering my neck.
Yeah, but Talia
Yes.
Talia
So
can't
you know what I would
stand it.
do? I would rip it so that I couldn't wear them anymore. My mom would get so pissed. She's like, I just bought that. I'm like, I told you not to buy it for me. Ah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Talia does not like the feeling of anything on her throat either. Like that.
hmm
It's very constricting.
Yeah.
All right, take us back.
We finished our Dharma talk. So, what type of phrase might we say throughout class to bring our students back to this theme of the fifth chakra, the throat chakra, the Vishuddha chakra, as they move through their bodies? Some options might be speak your truth. How does that work though? If they're not really talking in class, you're the teacher, you're talking.
Maybe you have interactive yoga class where like you try something new and then you ask them to turn to the person next to them and share about your experience. Like, what was this like for
Mm.
you? Or at the end of class, what was this like for you? I went to a class recently where the teacher asked everybody by name how they felt at the end of the class.
Oh,
And like,
that's cool.
Heidi, how do you feel? And I'm like, the little girl in me was like nervous to speak up in front of people. And I was like, who would ever
Hmm.
say bad? Like right now, like in front of the class and in front of the teacher, I would never say, I actually feel like crap. I hated that class. Like I would never say that. You're just, I feel like you're saying what, maybe this is the throat chakra work, right? Like you're saying what you think the teacher wants to hear.
Yeah. Hmm.
When else could you say speak your truth? Like maybe you wouldn't, maybe it would be like express your truth.
Yeah.
Or you could
Like
do some,
express it in your physical body.
yeah. Or like every time you go into like an opening of the front of your body, you tell them to shout. Like take a breath in, and as you exhale, ah! Some like
Can you imagine?
somatic release class. And like at first people are quiet and then they get
Yeah.
into it. It's kind of like lion's breath, right? Like the first time everybody's all like, oh my God, who's going to be watching me stick out my tongue as I exhale? This is so weird. This is so weird. And then like everybody's
Yeah.
doing it by the a few rounds in.
Have you ever started a class by yelling?
Me as a
Like
teacher?
asking everyone to just yell? Yeah.
No, I have never done that. Have you? I feel like you have.
Oh, of course. I think I remember three occasions where I've taught a class like this. Like, look, everybody, I'm showing up with like a lot of like angst, crazy energy. I'm fucking pissed off about something or like whatever it may be. And I feel like I just need to like yell at the top of my lungs. Do you want to scream with me? And people are like, yeah. Like they're so excited. And so we'll all stand up, we'll face out towards the walls of the room, and I'll just be like, okay, deep breath in, and then scream, and everyone's just like, and we're like, our building is connected to a bar, and I always think like, what are the people in the bar thinking is happening in the yoga room?
That's
But it feels so
interesting.
good to release.
I don't usually feel good after I yell. Like for
It's very activating.
yeah, for me, I think I would need to release a different way than
Mm.
yelling because to me that would be like not it's not helpful for me personally. And I think I grew up in a house where
Uh-huh.
people yell as like a communication method, and like we never
Oh,
yell in my own home here. Like that's just not part of mine or my husband's communication style. Um,
yeah.
it makes me very uncomfortable and scared.
Yeah. I think yeah, I don't yell either in my like day-to-day life. Like we don't yell in my household at
Yeah, I
all.
can't
I
see you
think
raising
that's
your voice at
why
all.
I never raise my voice. Like even when my kids, like I'm scolding my kids, my voice is like this, like literally the same, but I'm just like talking to them in like a more stern manner, but my voice level like doesn't raise.
Yeah.
So I think that's why sometimes I feel like I just need to like let whatever it is out there and I need to yell, I need to scream and let it out. I do it by myself when I'm out on the trails, like there's nobody around and I'm just in nature. I can just scream. It's very activating and like I'll start crying usually after I scream. But in class it's just like it's a really cool experience.
I'll have to try it one day.
With that face, I don't think you're gonna
I
try
don't think
it.
I'm ever going to try that. I mean, maybe if I was like a participant in it first
Hmm.
and I was like, oh, wow, that is actually transformational, I think I'd feel so uncomfortable. I don't know.
Yeah, it can be uncomfortable. And you can always give the out of like, if this is going to make you uncomfortable, you can step out of the room. Like, you don't have to participate.
Do you know that that's really hard for me too? Like, if I'm uncomfortable, I have a very hard time getting up because I'm afraid that people will feel like I'm being disrespectful or feel bad about themselves. So I'd rather stay and suffer in discomfort than get up and
Oh
potentially
my
make
gosh.
somebody who's the teacher uncomfortable.
Yeah.
What?
Is that throat chakra stuff or is that a different one?
I don't, maybe solar plexus too?
Yeah. I think solar plexus and throat are very related.
Because they're on either side of the bridge.
Yeah.
Interesting. I got some work to do, lady. Ay, ay, ay. All right. So speak or express your truth. You said that one. What else?
Yeah. Listen deeply. So opposite of speak, listen deeply. Listen to what your body is communicating and honor it.
Maybe also like, you know how I love doing this? I like messing with people. Like, if let's say a sun salutation is like 99% of the time always the same, and they think they know, like, as they're coming into chaturanga, low plank, like they always know like an up dog or something's coming next. Instead, telling them to like press back up into plank, like do a push up basically, and then like
Mm.
be like, nobody's actually listening to me. Like, can we be willing to let go of our patterns and listen? Because I'm going to say some things that are going to trip you out. But like, we're working with our throat chakra today. We're working on
Mm.
listening. How can you listen to the words that are coming out of my mouth and like be okay with shifting your experience around? Like, what does that bring up for you?
Yeah, yeah. That's like a samskara class too, because you're just like an autopilot, like fitting
Yes.
into those grooves over and over.
Yes. It fits in with
I did
both.
it.
It fits in with both. I love that.
Yeah. Cool. Another one might be authenticity is key. How can you show up in your practice more authentically? And lastly, express with compassion. Do
Mm.
you have any others?
Maybe just like something as simple as like if you're doing something, even like if you're looking up and you're feeling the front of your throat outstretch, like can you observe the energy that's found in the front of your throat? Like something just like a little bit more literal, literal and energetic, right? Those are the opposites, but like literally bringing them back to the energetic feeling at their throat. Like, do you feel any pulsing? Do you feel any temperature differential? Like, what can you observe that's happening in this strip of throat that sits at the front of your neck?
Hmm. Also, that just made me think about how we talked about last episode, the heart chakra, how we have a back of the heart. What about the back of the
Oh,
throat?
please. Who has a back of the throat? That's weird. I'm kidding.
But like, do you think about the back of your neck or do you think about like inside back of the throat?
So I tend to think generally when I teach, I try and think about the patterns that we have in our body through daily life and then try and like oppose them, right? So our typical patterns are very shortened at the front of the throat, shortened at the front of the body, rounded with flexion at the spine and the shoulders, and like the head hangs
Because we're
forward.
looking down at our
We're
phones.
looking down at our phones and our computers and even our steering wheels. So the back of our throat is
Hmm.
like very lengthened, back of our neck is very lengthened, or
Hmm.
and we're losing the curve, like the natural curve of the cervical spine, the upper part of the spine. So like in classes, like can you observe that the back of your neck is already lengthened and rounding forward? Can you lengthen it back and up and then feel like the gentle constriction as you tuck your chin in toward your throat just a little bit, and that might give you a double chin that you're trying to avoid a lot of the time, but that keeps your chin parallel to the earth. I'm like, embrace your double chin. I say that sometimes in these kind of classes.
To be the thematic through line phrase right there. Embrace your double
Embrace your
chin.
double chin. Right? But like, this is what we need, because we need to strengthen the muscles on the back of the neck because they're so stretched out from rounding forward. And that is uncomfortable for me. Like, that pulls my jaw into a direction that it's probably supposed to be in, but it's not used to, right? Like, because even when I sit up straight, I think about like pulling the crown up, which pulls the chin up and still doesn't ever strengthen the muscles in the back of the neck. Like, do you ever stand at a wall with your chin parallel to the earth and try and press the back of your skull into the wall?
Only when they're taking my height at the doctor's office.
Okay, yeah, great. So like maybe once a year if you go for an annual physical, but like we need to use those muscles more than once a year. That's how we end up like way shorter. One of the ways that we end up way shorter as we age, right? We're just like rounding forward and gravity's just like hunching us down and compressing all these spaces. But like, you have the opportunity to open your throat and engage these muscles on the back, front, and sides, right? How does your throat feel when you turn one ear toward the shoulder or the other ear toward the shoulder? How does your throat feel when you sit up tall and then twist to look back over you? Can you keep twisting so that way your chin even draws closer to the shoulder and not just like looking over the shoulder, right? Now I got to twist the other way too. That way is not nearly as twistable, right? So like,
You're twisting at the neck though. Are you closing your throat chakra then?
what if you close it?
You're like wringing it out.
Maybe, but like, what if you close it and then you observe the energy when you open back up, almost like any of the bandhas, right? Like when you lock, when you close off the energy, what does it feel like when you let it go even? Right? That like,
I like
that
it.
closing to opening.
Sweet. I think that's all the thematic through line.
That was a lot. We got a lot there.
Yeah, that's a lot. So let's have more of a chat about how we bring this all alive in a class. What additional things do we hit on? Peak poses, pranayama. First pranayama, I think that was oh my God, I can't think of the name of it. The Darth Vader breath one.
Oh, ujjayi.
Ujjayi. Ujjayi pranayama. Yeah.
Right.
Did
Feeling.
you think of that one? You went straight to
I
lions.
went straight to lions. I did. I
Mm,
did. But no, that's a good one because you can feel the subtle vibration of the breath at the back of your throat, both with the inhale and the
mhm,
exhale. That's a good one. I like that. And like some people go like super uber crazy with their ujjayi breath. Do you notice? Like there's the people that have like their subtle ujjayi and you hear it when you walk near them. But then there's the people that you can be on the other side of the room. They're like,
yeah.
no.
Yeah, so what I've heard other teachers say, and now I say it too, is like if we can hear you Ujjayi across the room, it's too much. But if the people right directly next to you can hear it, it's like just enough.
We always say that with singing when you're trying to blend with the people next to you, to hear
Mm,
the voice of the neighbor on each side of you more than your own, and then your voices are blending.
mm,
But if you hear yourself
mhm.
or somebody on the other side of the space louder than those on either side of you, then we're no longer blending. It's a similar idea.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I know for the heart chakra, I said fish. Fish is a great one. And so is wheel. Like any of these where you're opening the front of the body and you keep opening the front of the throat is very
Yeah.
opening for the throat chakra.
Mm,
I do like rotation stuff though of the throat too, where like I think a lot of the people do a lot of their twists. Like think about the fact that if you're in like a twisted lunge for a second and
mhm,
you get your elbow to the outside of the thigh and you're kind of like looking at your hands. I can't do that from the position I'm sitting in right now, but like
mhm.
then can you keep rotating even through your cervical spine? Can your neck keep rotating to look back? And people get a little bit uncomfortable when it comes to the neck and the throat. Um,
Yeah.
so you could do it.
Well, like your drishti changes, and then it feels like it takes you off balance.
That's right. That scares people.
Hmm.
And then I always think like neck and throat kind of go together. Like I love when our teacher Matt teaches his throat. I guess it's neck. I don't know what it is, but like in Warrior 2, it's not normal warrior two, but like your back hand can come to the back of your skull. This is how I always teach it. I don't think he does this the whole way, but you press your skull, your occipital ridge into your hand as you look up and over, trying to bring, like if you're looking up over your right hand, you're trying to draw your right ear toward the back of the room. But I take my pointer finger. I offer this. Some people think it's weird. And so for that right arm's forward, I'll take the left hand at the back of the skull, then take your left index finger, your pointer finger, loop it into the little strip of flesh at the top of your ear and help draw it back. And then you can really feel the rotation through the throat and neck a little bit deeper. It actually feels really good. It's just weird. People are like, I don't want to put my finger into that ear flap crease thing. Like that, and like weirds people out.
I was thinking for more like throat and neck opening poses, like a reverse tabletop. Let your head hang back. Or you could even do it like with your butt on the ground and your hands are just like behind you on the mat and you look up towards the ceiling.
Like you're sunbathing at the beach.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of nice.
I mean, you can even do it in upward salute,
camel,
chair,
half camel, with your hand behind your head.
Yeah.
So
there's so many opportunities to like look up and stretch your throat.
So lengthening the front of the throat. But can you do that without just letting gravity tip your head back? Can you get intentional about like contracting the muscles at the back of the neck in order to create that versus just like flopping your head back in space?
Yeah.
I think that's important.
Yeah, that'd be the work.
Okay, so we have Ujjayi, or I guess lions. I like the reverse tabletop as a peak pose. You could do that with knees bent or straight, hips on or off the ground, right? Like you have some preparation. You could do it a few times, but the focus is less on the hips lifting or the legs being bent or straight, and more on what's happening at the back of your neck to contract to create the opening on the front.
Yeah. And if your legs are straight, that's reverse plank, technically, not reverse table.
Oh, whatever.
It's like your bonus peak.
Your bonus peak. Whatever. Did I just whatever your reverse plank? Whatever. What about a lion's breath when you're in your reverse plank and your neck is open?
Oh. Would that feel good?
I don't know, but I just really want to get a lion's breath into this class, apparently. I really want to stick my tongue out. There's something calling me to lion's breath in this class.
I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And maybe like a nice guided meditation about envisioning where your voice comes out and seeing if there's any constriction, if you're speaking your truth or you're hiding things for any reason, and just like no judgment, but just getting curious and observing.
Yeah, I like that.
Awesome. I'm glad you like it. Sounds like a good class.
It does.
Do you think the reason...
I'm thinking about...
Oh, yeah. What are you thinking?
Just giving people the permission to be audible, like more audible in their classes, like when they're practicing. And it makes me think about when I get like a massage or like a chiropractic adjustment, and the massage therapist, the chiropractor, they're always telling me like, I never know with you, like what am I hurting you or am I not? Because you make a zero sound. And like I do it on purpose. Like I'm not gonna let you know that you're hurting me because I'm fucking tough. So I make zero sound. But like if I was allowed to make a sound, if like I allowed myself, it's not like I'm not allowed, but if I allowed myself to make a sound, I would be like,
you'd be the moaner on the table.
Sound in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like you and I have had this conversation
but I don't allow myself to.
Before in other ways.
Yes.
There's a girl that was in my YTT group, and I love this so much about her. She like lets out these gentle like sigh moan things during yoga. She's like, and I'm always like, yes,
Yeah,
I love that for you. Like and now I like start to do it, like, because it really inspired me to be like, if I have this energy in me that wants to get out through my throat, where it's just like a sound of like just contentment or pleasure, or like, this is so yummy, or I'm just so at peace right
Mm-hmm.
now. Like, make some noise. That's okay. You don't have to be silent.
Yeah.
I do it as teacher
Yeah.
when I'm teaching a lot. I'm like, I'll be like, or I'll when something's hard, I'll be like, like pull. Today we were doing a lot of hip mobility stuff in class, and I had them like we were doing fire hydrant things with a leg, and then pulling it toward your armpit, and then using your hip flexors to like hoist it up even higher. And I'm like, like
Mm-hmm.
hoist it up, and they're like, I'm like, yes, somebody else, please make the sound effect because this is hard. Like, make some noise.
Yeah, I feel like when I'm teaching, I am more audible because I feel like that then gives the permission to the rest of the class to like, yeah, let out the sounds. Like it's okay. Especially when I teach lift and flow because I do all the movements with them and it's hard. And so I'll be like, oh,
Yeah, it's it's hard. And I also think, like, just to elaborate a little bit more on this, even though it's not about sound, I tell teachers this all the time. You need to use your props as teacher and not just show them the hardest version of every pose, because you need to give permission for your students to do the same. And when they see you doing it or
mhm,
making the noise or doing the rest, whatever it is, if they see you doing it, that gives them permission to not to like be authentically them. And it's okay. It's okay
mhm,
to adapt things. But when we're like muscling through everything and doing it to its highest extent, whether it's in silence or in sounds or in supporting props or whatever it is, like you know what I'm saying, right?
yeah, I find that Kelly does that a lot. Kelly was a guest on our show. Episode what?
Last
25?
one of season 1, whatever that was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Kelly will be like, I'm gonna do this version. If you want to take it like to a deeper extent, then you can do this or that. But she won't actually do it. She'll just like say it
Yeah.
and she'll like give everyone, it seems like, permission to like do the plank on the knees instead of a full plank or like whatever the variation may be is like, yeah, she'll chill out more. So
I also think as yoga
I'm inspired by that.
teachers, yeah, I think along with this too is our ability to mess up, right? Like just as teachers, since
Mhm.
you're often going to be a yoga teacher listening to this, like we often think that our words have to be executed perfectly in a class and like we can't make a mistake. And in the time of the pandemic, we could just like when we were teaching online, like you could just like erase it and do it over or something. But like life is messy, life is full of mess ups, life is full of missteps or miswords or things that you wish you put your foot in your mouth and you like didn't say, but that's part of it, and that's part of showing up authentically as you as teacher and knowing that that's okay and that that's actually going to have your students probably, unless it's like truly offensive things that are coming out of your mouth, but it's probably going to make them
Mm.
connect with you even more because you're going to show them that it's okay to mess up and to show up as yourself, and it's going to give them the space to do that too.
Yeah, that's just like more of an exercise in this throat chakra work is like say the thing, even if it may be the wrong thing. And then you're allowed to like say sorry.
Oh my god, yes, I love that you brought that up because so many generations before us never apologized because they saw sorry as a
Mm.
sign of weakness.
Mm.
I think sorry is a sign of freaking badass strength. I love apologizing
Yeah.
as long as it has meaning. And
Yeah.
like usually it's over a day later because it takes me time to actually reflect to see if I am sorry. And I'm not just sorry that the person's
Hmm.
impacted, right? Like I need to make sure that I'm sorry for my words or actions and not just that like somebody's mad at me.
Yeah. I mean, over apologizing is also a thing too, like saying sorry when you actually don't need to.
I do that all the
Like,
time. Like
see,
I
still throat
apologize for
chakra
my
stuff.
existence all the time. It makes John so angry. I'd be like, "Hey, it's nice to see you. Oh, I'm sorry." And I'd be like, "What?" You're sorry? Or like, can you pass me the potatoes? Oh, I'm sorry. He's like, what are you sorry for? I'm like, you needing to pass me the
For not reading your
potatoes.
mind
I
and
don't know.
passing them
Like,
before you thought about
I
it.
don't know. I don't know. I'm a chronic I'm working really hard at being a chronic gratitude
Mm.
giver instead of a chronic apologizer,
Hmm.
trying to replace. It's not easy.
Yeah. So interesting.
Yeah.
Lots of throat chakra work, lots of different aspects that you can go into with this
And reflect on
specific
yourself as a
chakra.
teacher too, right? Like that's important.
Yeah.
All right. Wanna
Yeah. So maybe not like apologize. Maybe not apologize when you like say the wrong word, but just call it out and be like, oh, didn't mean to say that.
yeah.
This is what I meant to say.
I do that usually when I'm teaching. I'll be like, yeah, think I said today, put your feet by your hips. in mountain pose. I'm like, no, you don't have feet at your hips. They're your hands. Like, put your hands by your hips. Yeah, that makes more sense.
Yeah.
Like, but rather be like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Oh my God, I can't believe I said
Yeah.
feet by my
Like,
hips.
what are you sorry for?
Being human. I'm sorry for taking up space. Ugh, no, no.
Dang, that's a whole separate theme, taking up space.
Oh yeah, jot it down on your notepad. We'll have to do
That's a
that
good one.
one. Thank God you keep a notepad next to you when you do these. One of us is on top of our game. It's not me. Spoiler alert. All right, Farron. Want to wrap it up?
Yeah, so all the stuff we talked about, well, most of it is going to make it onto our inspo sheet. You can pick that up at themeweaversyoga.com/episode 37. We'll list out all this info related to the fifth chakra so that you can take your class on this theme to the next level. And
You probably
I
know.
think it's your wrap up.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's true. That's true. Okay. So, Amrad, reverse Dharma talk. I invite you to keep doing the work of your throat chakra as you walk off the mat today. Remember that your voice is a powerful instrument of expression. May you speak your truth with clarity and conviction. Listen deeply to yourself and others, and embody authenticity in all that you do. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
Succinct. All right.
Love it.
Yeah. So go to our website, please, themeweaversyoga.com/episode 37. The link will also be in the show notes, courtesy of Farin. And request our inspo sheet on the fifth chakra. It's going to be full of awesome material, and it can help you bring your theme alive in your own voice, in your own practice and teaching. Reach out to us, the socials, the emails, all the things. Let us know how it lands. We're here to support you. If you have requests for post chakra haven, where you want us to go next, also let us know. We want to support you in ways that it's helpful for you. So please tune in next week for another episode of Theme Weavers, which you'll never guess what the topic's going to be. Do you think they'll guess?
Oh my God.
They'll never guess.
Maybe. Is it chakra 11?
There is none. That was loud. Sorry. See, I'm taking up too much space. All right, it's spoiler, it's not chakra 11. Extra spoiler, it comes after the number 5. Where we'll help you feel prepared to go on and inspire your students in your next class. If you don't know how to weave themes by now, go back to our second episode, Why Weave? The Importance of Threading Intention into Your Yoga, for background and inspiration. And until next time,
we weave you in peace and authenticity.
Yes, and use your voice.